Welcome to Ready and Rooted Homeschool. My name is Stephanie. I am a mom to three, and I am starting homeschooling my 4-year-old with her pre-K 4-year this year. In today's video, I want to talk about how I am organizing our preschool and how I'm using some different Google Sheets as well as a binder to kind of keep things organized and keep me organized going forward for the school year. So I like to say I am probably a type C mom, kind of type A, some things get type B, mostly type A. So I like things organized, neat, ready to go. I like to have a system, I like to have a plan, and I like having like big outlines, nice and organized. That being said, when I get stressed and overwhelmed, things kind of start to fall off. I stop tracking. I kind of lose my organization. I lose my schedule, and it never goes well. So I am trying to be very persistent and very organized in our homeschool for this year and going forward, and kind of setting up some systems and putting them in place so that hopefully when I add on students, I am less overwhelmed and they just easily flow into the plan that I have already created by being type A and super organized in my pre-K 4-year. So if that is something you are interested in, keep on watching this video because I'm going to go through my whole Excel process and how I am doing things on my computer, as well as in kind of my working homeschool binder for myself, my teacher binder, for lack of a better word. And I'm going to go over all of that in today's video. So this is now my second time recording this because I forgot to turn my microphone on the first time, and I don't even know if it's on right now. I mean, it is on, but I don't know if it's recording super well. But we are going to do this all again. We are going to record it all again. Remember that type B mom? Yeah, that was that. So anyway, to preface this, before figuring out how you want to organize your homeschool, I highly recommend looking at your state's standards for how you are supposed to record homeschool. I live in Connecticut. So currently, as of 2020, we'll go 2026 year, there was no record recording requirements in Connecticut. Going forward, they are changing that. There was some new legislation this year, and it's a little washy, still kind of confusing. That being said, I would prefer to be more organized, more prepared, and have way more of my bases covered than not, because I don't know what Connecticut is going to do in the future, because they are increasing our homeschooling oversight and legislation, and it looks like that's just going to continue to increase. So I want to make sure I'm doing the best for my kids, and I want to make sure that I have everything recorded so that whatever they choose to do in their future, they have everything recorded and they've hit everything that they needed to hit through their elementary, middle, and high school years so they can be successful human beings. I also want to make sure if they do want to go to college or take community college classes in high school, that we have the pre-existing documentation to make them as successful in that option as I can. So I definitely am over recording and overwriting what I need to, but I don't know what the future of homeschooling Connecticut looks like. I also don't know what my kids want to do because they're only 4, 2, and 4 months. And so I want to just be prepared for everything. So that is where this comes from. There's also a piece of my brain that just likes nice, neat, organized Excel sheets and checking things off. And so part of it is for me because I like those things. So let's turn you around and we will show you my computer. I'm going to screen record this whole thing so that we have an idea of what we are going to do and what this looks like in my homeschool. So let's go into my homeschool Google Drive. And so I created a new folder on my Google Drive for homeschool specifically, and this is pretty much for homeschool tracking. I have some other homeschool stuff in my Google Drive, but I'm not using that necessarily for tracking. So this is purely my tracking drive. I have a large outline of the school year and what that looks like. So let's go, that's not that. Let's go to that spreadsheet first. So this is my editable big homeschool outline sheet. So homeschool big outline. Now in here, I have my plan for my girls going forward all the way to high school. BB is my new daughter, Sophia. When I did this whole outline, she did not have a name yet, and now she does. So I will go through and change all that. But this is just kind of my big homeschool outline. The curriculum options are not set in stone, especially going forward into the upcoming years. These are just like my working ideas of things I might do. This year, however, is set in stone. So I like just having the big, overwhelming, overarching look of everything. It also helps me see, like, so let's go in the year 2034 and 2035. I know my oldest will be in 7th grade, my middle will be in 5th grade, and my youngest will be in 3rd grade. I also have their ages 12, 10, and 8. So that just gives me an idea when I'm looking at curriculums in the future of what ages and grades they're appropriate for and how I can combine things like social studies, history, geography, and science, and what the best way to do that is. So this is my jumbo outline just to kind of give me an idea going forward. I also have some stuff that I recorded down here for previous years because I didn't have this broken out before, but I am going to have it broken out going forward. I also just have some tabs down here for like random research, Connecticut things, books to borrow and buy, and curriculum options. This is just kind of like my catch-all document. If I see something new that I want to keep track of, I throw it in here. If I go back here and now we go into the 26-27 school year, these are motor milestones for all motor and social milestones for all my kids. I have individually broken out in here. And then we get into Noelle's pre-K year, pre-K 4 year. So my plan for this drive is we will have samples of her work in this folder. So whether that's something that I scan into the computer and upload to have a sample or whatnot, then I have photos. So these will be photos of field trips, photos of art projects, photos of different things that we've done in the homeschool. That's going to live in that folder. And then this is our logs folder. So in here, I have first, our developmental tracking. So I start with the core standards that I need her to achieve specifically for language arts and mathematics this year. And then I also go into motor milestones, gross and fine motor. We'll check these off as we achieve them. Speak, language, and communication milestones, social emotional milestones, and then cognitive and other learning, thinking, and problem solving milestones. So as we can get these done, I'm going to check them off. I also have this printed off in the binder so that as we do them, I can hand check them off in person. Is that overkill? Maybe, but like I said, I'd rather be more prepared than less prepared and have everything in a lot of different places. So now we have the big, what I'm calling the big document. Okay, so this is our homeschooling for 2026, 2027 official tracking logging document. As you can see, I have every month of the year. I have marked off birthdays, our first day of school, weekends are in one color, breaks from school are in another color. We do have a specific vacation planned for later in May. And so that week is blocked off as a specific vacation week. And then holidays are marked off. We are going to take a week at Thanksgiving. We're going to take 2 weeks around Christmas. I do have like another week break planned in March. I have a week break planned in September. Who knows if those breaks stand? They may change if we book vacations and those kind of things. So in here, I also plan on highlighting days that we do have school so that I can keep track of a total number date. Even though we do not have a date requirement in the state of Connecticut, I still kind of want to have an idea of how many days school we have completed. Obviously, if we finish curriculum, that's one thing, but some weeks we may do more from a curriculum than another. And I would like to just see kind of an accurate date of how many days of school we did do in a year. Next is going to be our weekly check off. So this I will print and put in the binder. It is not in there right now because I am waiting to see what we complete in math this week, which is kind of like a break week. But I am doing a little bit of math in language arts. So I'm waiting to see what we complete in math this week before I commit to putting in what we're doing for math next week when we start our new school year. So, but this will be printed out. I go over what I want to get done in language arts, what I want to get done for art and fine motor or whatever else. This is probably going to be involving our Me and My units that we're doing from Little School of Smiths. That's going to be all mostly art, fine motor, STEM, and social studies. Our riches are a separate section, books that we're reading, where I'm getting the books from that we're reading, so that I have an idea if I own any, if they're from the library, and if I have to kind of fill in with other books that we need. Right now, I only have 2 weeks completely done, except for math, obviously. The thing is, I am not sure if this is too much language arts and how I'm going to pull it back a little bit if it is. So I just want to see what we get through before I commit to having that much in there every week. So we're going to see how it goes. And that's why I haven't finished it for the weeks going forward. The one thing that I did do is I filled out our riches every week going forward because it's just easy. Now I don't have to think they're in there and I'm not super concerned about it. So that's kind of, this is I will have it to highlight off when we finish something, and I will print this off every week so that I can flip through and see and highlight as we go. The next page is going to be our book log. I plan to include a cover page of the book, the title of the book, the author of the book, and then the date completed, just to give us an idea of what books we read throughout the year. Then our field trip log, the date that we went to, the location we visited, and what we learned there. And then in the what we learned, I'll add like how it related to our curriculum of the week, if it did, or how it's going to relate to a curriculum we're doing coming up or in the past. Then our extracurriculars, which I already have filled out what we've been doing so far. So currently we are in swim lessons. In the fall, we will start soccer. And in the fall, we picked gymnastics back up as well. This last page is our curriculum checkoff. So I saw this, I forgot what YouTube video, but I saw it on a YouTube video. And I really liked the concept of being able to check off curriculums that you have completed. Now, some of these, for example, Math with Confidence, they have Unit 1, and there are 4 things in Unit 1. That's straightforward. That's how I blocked it off. Some of them are less so. So, for example, the handwriting, it had a certain number of units, right? So it had a specific number of units. It didn't have them broken up into specific weeks. My plan is to do 3 days of our handwriting work every week. That may not go, but that's my plan. It's 3 times a week for 15 weeks. So I'm just going to check them off as we go, not necessarily in the order, but it just makes it look neater to have it broken up in weeks. Then if you come down to the Me and My stuff, there was no specific number of units. Each of them have different activities, different amounts of activities in them. I would like to complete something from the Me and My unit one day, 3 times a week. So that is where I have this. So if we finish these 3 days, that means we finish the Me and My family tree. The Me on the Map, Unit 1, 3 days of Unit 1, 3 days of Unit 2, 3 days of Unit 3. So this is the correct number of units, not necessarily the correct number of days, if that makes sense. Oh, man, I've been creating these like late at night, so they are not perfect. But we'll fix that because it's actually 10 weeks of this. But yeah, so 10 weeks, 3 times a week, 10 weeks, 3 times a week, 8 weeks, 3 times a week. So this one. But yeah, so I just liked this for the ability to go in and check something off. And I have this page printed in my binder, so I'll show it again in there, so that I can check off as we finish each curriculum unit. I'm gonna have to reprint this page out. Okay. Anyway, but so I will also have this page in the binder to go from there. So now that I've kind of gone through all of this, I went through all the computer stuff. Now let's get into the binder and show you how I am doing that. Okay, so let's get into our binder and how I am doing this. So these are those milestone pages that I talked to you about. So motor, I believe. Yeah, this is for Madeline. So this is for my middle daughter, her milestones. This is for my oldest daughter. So we start with the core standards and then her milestones. And then after this page, so those are in there so that I can check them off as we go. Once we get into there, this is that full year outline. So that in here, I can also highlight as we complete days, if we have a sick day, if something's off, all of those are there for me to see as a big outline of how we're going in the year. And now my plan is to use this binder in place of a planner. I find that I really struggle sometimes with planners and they don't always go well for me. So I'm hoping that using a binder like this may be a better option, and it might give me a little bit more consistency because also our curriculum is in here. So I will be forced to use this and forced to record in it each day, and it'll keep me kind of organized in one place. This is that check off for the curriculum that I had. So every time we finish a unit, I will check it off as we go for each of our subjects. Then we get into our specific curriculum. So we are starting with the Little School of Smiths, me and my family tree unit first. So I had printed this whole one. I just printed out the whole section. I do have to go in and cut out these pages, and then they'll go in the front. But then we get into our, here's the cover page for that. Me on the map is the one that we are going to do first. So the first unit for me on the map is my home. So I have that in here next. And then this is just broken up into all of those me on the map units. And then, so it's essentially broken up into weeks. So I haven't fully decided. I don't think I'm going to, but I may, as we, depending, today I plan on doing a little bit more homeschool planning. And so in here are the things that we need for the unit. So like if I have any papers that I have to like cut out or anything, they're all in the folder for those units. Any additional things that I need for our all about readings pre-reading group, any other things that I have to print out or have for math, so maybe like a 10 frame or something like that, those are probably going to go in these folders also, so that when I open to the week, I have everything here. I have whatever extra paperwork we need for all about reading units. I have whatever extra paperwork we might need for our math units. Those are all in this folder. So I just open up the binder, pull this out, and go. Now, this is obviously going to work for this year. As we get into later years with different curriculums, that may not be an option, but that's kind of my plan for right now. I also have been thinking about different ways that I want to store other pieces of my daughter's curriculum. For right now, they may go in this binder also as we complete them. So for example, I'm going to write for her, but I'm also going to have her draw some pictures in these discussion questions. So I'm going to write out her answers to like what makes a home, what's your favorite part of your home, what's your favorite room in your home. But one of the activities is to draw a picture of their room. So that I'm going to have her like do a drawing for. And I think for those, I may keep them in this binder and have a different way to like separate them out or put them in a folder so that all of her work for the year for this year is in this binder, especially when we're not doing anything crazy. Pre-K 4 is pretty low key as well as far as like amount of work goes. So I'm probably going to keep everything in here so it's all in one place. And this is like her pre-K 4 year. Everything is in here. I can pull it out and have that ready to go if I ever needed to show anyone anything, or if we needed to look back and see what we did, or if we wanted to check in and do like a refresh on like, oh, this is what you did in pre-K 4. So that it's all in here. This may not be a big enough binder. I may need to go into a second binder to be able to do that comfortably. But right now, we're still on loose plans. We'll see how it goes as the years progress and as this year progresses. And obviously, I will bring you and this channel along with me as I do all of that. So I know that was quite a bit of rambling, but that is my whole plan of organization going forward into our pre-K 4 year. As I said, as things change, everything is fluid with our homeschool. We bring things in as we need, we take things out as we need, we adjust, we make plans. That's why we homeschool, so we can be flexible, free, and do what is best for our students and for yourself. So I will bring you along, obviously, with me as we go through all of these different things, see how things are working, see how my organization methods are working, or if they're not working at all. But right now, getting ready to go into the school year, we are starting on Monday next week. This is my plan, and this is how it is organized at the moment. So if you liked this video and you thought it was helpful, leave a comment down below. I love organizing, so I plan on doing a lot more videos like this in the future. If you ever want like more information on how I'm doing our big homeschool outline or how I organize things week to week and set things up, let me know, and I would be happy to film something like that. But in the meantime, please like and subscribe, and all of those fun little things. Leave a comment down below for any future videos, ideas that you might have for me. I like just connecting with other homeschool moms, so feel free to leave a comment and I will be happy to chat back with you. All right. Hope you are having a great week. And if you are starting your homeschool year this year in the next couple of weeks, have a good start to your homeschool year. And I will see you in my next video.